The photography and videography world is buzzing with anticipation, and for good reason. Sony has just registered a brand new camera under the code WWW08420 in China. And insiders are confident this isn't just another refresh. It's the long-awaited Sony A7V. After nearly 4 years of speculation and wish lists from the community, the A7V appears to be right around the corner, promising a set of upgrades that could reshape the full-frame camera landscape in 2025. For creators, hybrid shooters, and professionals who want a perfect balance of resolution, speed, and cutting-edge video features, the A7V could be the answer. In this breakdown, I'll walk you through everything we know so far about the Sony A7V, confirmed specifications, rumored details, market positioning, comparisons with rivals, and whether or not you should wait for it. If you've been debating whether to buy the Sony A7 IV, hold out for the Sony A7RV, or even switch to rivals like Canon or Nikon, this deep dive should help you make the right choice. A quick look back. Why the Sony A7V matters so much before we dive into specs. It's important to understand why the A7V matters. Sony's A7 series has been one of the most important mirrorless camera lines in history. The Sony A7 III, launched back in 2018, was considered the basic model that wasn't so basic at all. It delivered professional features at a relatively accessible price and set a new standard in the industry. Then came the Sony A7 IV in late 2021, which brought meaningful improvements, especially in autofocus and video. But as creators' demands grew, especially for hybrid cameras that can do both high-end stills and serious video, the A7 IV started to show its age. Overheating during long-form video shoots, limited slow-motion options, and stabilization that lagged behind competitors became clear shortcomings. That's why the Sony A7V is being hyped as more than just an incremental update. It looks like Sony has gone back to the drawing board, listened to user feedback, and is about to deliver a camera that doesn't just fix problems, but sets new benchmarks. Sony A7 V rumored release date. According to recent leaks and registration filings, the Sony A7V release date is expected between October and November 2025. Camera registrations like these almost always signal an imminent launch, usually within a few months. This timing makes sense strategically. Sony wants to capitalize on the holiday season, when creators and professionals are upgrading their gear, and it also positions the A7V to directly compete with Nikon's Z6 III and Canon's R6 Mark II, both of which are strong, mid-tier full-frame options. In other words, if you've been waiting for a new Sony camera in this segment, the wait is almost over. Sony A7V sensor, a new 44MP BSI CMOS. The heart of the A7V is rumored to be a 44-megapixel partially stacked BSI CMOS sensor. This isn't a full-stack design like what you'll find in Sony's A9 III or A1, but it's still a major leap forward from the 33MP sensor of the A7 IV. Why does this matter? Higher resolution, you'll get sharper detail, more room to crop, and better results for large format prints. Speed. Despite not being fully stacked, the new sensor can still shoot 20 frames per second with a deep buffer that handles hundreds of RAWs. Dynamic range. Expect better highlight retention, stronger shadow recovery, and reduced noise at high ISOs. Heat management. Improved readout speeds and new internal cooling should solve overheating issues from the A7 IV. This sensor design shows Sony is walking a fine line, delivering professional-grade performance without pricing it in the flagship category. Autofocus. AI at the core. Sony has dominated autofocus for years, and the A7 V looks like it will push things even further. The camera reportedly features 693 phase detection points, covering 93% of the sensor. That means edge-to-edge focusing. Real-time IAF for humans, animals, and even birds. AI-powered subject recognition, including vehicles and potentially insects. Low-light AF down to 4 EV, allowing focus in conditions where the human eye struggles. For action shooters, wildlife photographers, and event videographers, this makes the A7 V not just competitive but class-leading in its segment. Video features, cinema-level power in a smaller body. If you're a content creator, vlogger, or filmmaker, this is the section that should make you pay attention. The Sony A7 V video specs are rumored to include 120 FPS recording with no crop and full-frame readout .6K internal oversampling. For maximum detail and editing, flexibility, 10-bit, 4.2.2. recording for professional color grading, .S Cinetone and S-Log3 profiles, giving you cinematic looks straight out of the camera, focus breathing compensation, keeping shots consistent even when changing lenses, unlimited, recording thanks to improved heat management. This combination essentially transforms the A7V into a hybrid tool, capable of replacing much more expensive dedicated cinema cameras for many creators. Stabilization. 8 stops of IBIS. One of the most jaw-dropping rumored upgrades is the 8-stop in-body image stabilization. To put this into perspective, the A7 IV offered 5.5 stops. The Canon R6 Mark II offers 8 stops. With the A7V matching or even surpassing Canon's stabilization, you can handhold shots at 1 to 4 second shutter speeds and still walk away with sharp images. This isn't just convenient, it expands creative possibilities for night photography, handheld video, and travel shooting where carrying a tripod isn't practical. Design and build, borrowing from the flagship. Line early reports suggest the Sony A7V body design borrows heavily from the A1 and A9 III, with improved weather sealing for outdoor work, more ergonomic grip for long shoots, new menu system that's cleaner and easier to use, high resolution, electronic viewfinder for a true-to-life preview. This makes the A7V not just powerful but also professional in its handling, something creators have been asking for. Connectivity and workflow. Creators in 2025 expect faster, more seamless workflows. The A7V delivers with dual-band Wi-Fi for instant transfers, USB-C 3.2 for high-speed tethering, CF Express, Type A plus SD card slots for flexibility, improved battery life. Fixing one of the A7 IV's biggest complaints. Market positioning. Who is this camera for? Sony is clearly targeting hybrid creators with the A7V. That means photographers who shoot action, wildlife, weddings, and portraits, videographers who need high-quality slow motion, cinematic color, and reliable stabilization, content creators who want one camera to do it all. It sits right between the A7 IV and the A7RV or A1 IV, hitting a sweet spot that blends performance and affordability. Comparisons. How does the Sony A7V stack up? Sony A7V versus Canon R6 Mark II. The A7V wins on resolution, 44 1080p versus 24 1080p. Stabilization is equal, and autofocus looks stronger thanks to AI advancements. Canon still has warmer color science out of the box, but Sony gives more flexibility for grading. Sony A7V versus Nikon Z6 III. Nikon's latest Z6 III is powerful, but Sony's 4K 120fps with no crop and 44 megapixel sensor give it the edge for hybrid shooters. Nikon may still win in ergonomics for some users. Sony A7V versus Sony A7 IV. The A7V is not a small step, it's a leap. Faster burst rates, better video, stronger stabilization, and improved heat management make it a clear upgrade. Price. What can we expect? The Sony A7V price is rumored to fall around $2,500 to $2,800 USD, placing it slightly above the A7 IV's launch price but well below flagship models. That makes it a direct competitor to the Canon R6 Mark II and Nikon Z6 III while undercutting higher-end Sony models like the A7RV and A1 should. You wait or buy now? Here's the big question many of you are asking. Should you wait for the A7V or buy the A7 IV now? If you need a camera today and the A7 IV meets your needs, it's still a fantastic choice. But if you can wait a few more months, the A7V's rumored specs, especially the 4K 120fps video, 8-stop stabilization, and 44 megapixel sensor make it a no-brainer upgrade. Patience will likely be rewarded. Though keep in mind, new Sony releases often face stock shortages at launch. Final thoughts. Why the Sony A7V could dominate 2025. The Sony A7V isn't just another refresh. It's shaping up to be a game-changer in the full-frame, mirrorless world. With its 44 megapixel sensor with 20fps bursts, 8-stop image stabilization, cinema-grade 4K 120fps video AI-driven autofocus system, it could easily become the most balanced hybrid camera of 2025, offering features once reserved for flagship models at a price that's within reach for serious creators. If Sony delivers on these promises, the A7V won't just compete with Canon and Nikon, it could eat into the sales of Sony's own high-end cameras. That's how disruptive it might be.